Everyone wants a flashy new Apple Watch Ultra 4 design. The bigger story may be the sensors. A new report hints at a full redesign, plus a major sensor array upgrade. I am excited, but I am also skeptical. Apple rarely throws away a winning look. So what is really coming? The first real spark for Apple Watch Ultra 4 chatter just landed. It comes from DigiTimes, spotted through 9 to 5 Mac, and it points to two huge ideas: a significant upgrade to sensing functions, and a full redesign. That combo sounds explosive. New body, new health hardware, new reasons to upgrade. But I want to set expectations early. Early supply chain report can sometimes be messy. It can be right. It can also be a game of telephone. Starting with the part that feels most believable, the sensor upgrade. DigiTimes frames the story around market expectations and supplier orders. The key detail: a redesigned sensor array could drive a large volume of orders from Taiwan Asia Semiconductor. That matters because it suggests more than a tiny tweak. Suppliers don't gear up big for a minor tune-up. Now think about where the current Ultra stands. The Watch Ultra 3 already nails heart rate tracking. People have compared it against chest straps like the Polar 810 and found it nearly 1-to-1 in many workouts. So if Apple upgrades the sensing stack, it probably chases something else. That opens the door to two paths. Path 1. Apple adds a brand new health capability. Path 2. Apple takes an existing feature and makes it far more dependable. Better accuracy, better consistency, better performance during motion, sweat, cold weather, and weird wrist positions. And that second path sounds very Apple. Look at how Apple handles health features. The company tends to move slowly. It aims for clinical credibility. It seeks regulatory approval where it matters. It also avoids acting like a medical device that hands you heart numbers without confidence. That pattern fits perfectly with the way Apple approaches blood pressure. Right now, Apple has a hypertension feature. It doesn't throw exact systolic and diastolic readings at your face. Instead, it watches patterns over time and warns you about possible chronic high blood pressure after about 30 days. That pushes you toward proper medical follow-up. That feels cautious. It also feels realistic. Now compare that to what Samsung has done. Blood pressure monitoring on watches has existed outside the United States since 2020. In the United States, it finally became available for the Galaxy Watch 4 and newer in March 2026. But the trade-off is calibration. Users need a traditional cuff every 28 days. Reports also suggest accuracy drops between calibrations. So if Apple pushes deeper into blood pressure-related features, the company will want a different approach. Less maintenance, less drift, more trust. That kind of leap can require more hardware, not just better math. This leads straight into the most interesting rumor detail: the idea of doubling sensor elements. DigiTimes previously reported back in August 2025 that at least one upcoming model would see a significant increase in sensor components. The newest update points more specifically at Ultra 4. It claims the device could double the number of sensor elements versus Ultra 3. It also mentions a ring pattern arrangement on the back. If that rings true, it explains the supplier chatter immediately. More components, higher complexity, bigger orders. So what would doubling the sensor elements actually do for you? First, better readings during high-intensity training. Wrist-based measurements struggle when your arm is pumping, your grip changes, and sweat interferes. More sensing points can help the watch capture cleaner signals through motion. Second, improved sleep tracking detail. Not only whether you slept, also how stable each stage looks and how often you shift. With richer data, Apple can separate true signals from noise. Third, blood oxygen could get stronger. And yes, that matters because of regulatory turbulence in the United States on some models. If Apple can deliver more reliable measurements, it reduces the need for heavy estimation and could help the company defend the feature in the long run. Fourth, battery efficiency might actually improve. That sounds backward because more sensors sounds like more power. But if the watch needs fewer computational cycles to reach the same confidence level, it can save energy. Better hardware measurements can reduce constant algorithmic grinding. Here is the big theme. Apple may be moving from software-heavy estimation to more direct measurement. That is a major strategy shift. And it is exactly the type of thing Apple would do quietly, then market as a massive leap in accuracy. Now, about that full redesign claim. This part triggers my skepticism, not because Apple never redesigns. Apple absolutely does, but because Apple rarely ditches a strong identity quickly, especially for a premium product line. The Ultra look already signals exactly what it is. Big case, flat display, action button, chunky crown guard, rugged vibe. You can spot it instantly from across a room. That instant recognition is valuable. And the Ultra line is young. Ultra 1 arrived. Ultra 2 followed. Ultra 3 launched last September. If Apple changes the entire silhouette again right away, it risks weakening the identity it just built. So when I hear full redesign, my brain translates it into something more realistic. The meaningful refinement that Apple can market hard, even if the casual glance still says Ultra. Think about what Apple can change without killing the vibe. Thickness could drop a little. That would be huge for comfort, especially for smaller wrists or for sleep. Materials could shift. Titanium can evolve. New alloys, different finishes, better scratch behavior. Less weight, better durability. Battery efficiency could rise without making the watch bigger. That would be a win that every person feels immediately. The underside could change a lot while the top stays familiar. That is important because the underside holds the sensor array. If Apple doubles sensor elements, the backplate layout may look very different. Apple could call that a redesign, and it would be true, even if the case outline stays similar. The display could gain brightness or better angles. Bezels could tighten slightly. The glass could change. Those are easy to market as a new design language. Buttons could get a tactile upgrade. The crown could get better sealing. The speaker venting could shift. All of those count as redesign moves. None of them require Apple to abandon the Ultra look. So my expectation is simple. Ultra 4 will probably look almost identical to Ultra 3 at first glance. It might be thinner. It might feel different on the wrist, but the core silhouette will likely remain. Now let's us talk about the launch date expectations. Apple runs a predictable schedule. The Ultra line has been updated rapidly so far. Given that Ultra 1 lasted a year before Ultra 2 and Ultra 3 already exists, a September event reveal for Ultra 4 fits the pattern. Nothing is guaranteed, but the calendar logic works. So if you are watching this and you own Ultra 1 or Ultra 2, this rumor becomes very relevant. If the sensor upgrade is real, Ultra 4 could be the first time in a while that the health hardware itself makes a big jump, not just the chip or the screen. But if you own Ultra 3, the story changes. Ultra 3 remains excellent. Great heart tracking. Great battery life. Strong durability. Unless you specifically want the next sensor stack, you are not missing the core experience. That brings us to the big shopping question. Should you wait or should you buy now? If you care deeply about maximum accuracy, you should consider waiting. If the new sensor array arrives, it could improve multiple features at once. Training, recovery, sleep, blood oxygen, potential blood pressure pattern detection. And if Apple does bring a slimmer case, comfort could be the silent upgrade that wins people over. Waiting also makes sense if you are on Ultra 1 or Ultra 2. The bigger hardware jump feels more meaningful over 2 or 3 generations. But buying Ultra 3 now still makes total sense in several cases. If you need a watch immediately, don't freeze your life for a product that might shift or slip. Ultra 3 already delivers strong battery life. Around 42 hours in normal use and up to 72 hours in low power mode. That is real-world value. If you like the current design, you already have what you want, and after an announcement, price drops can happen. That can make Ultra 3 a sweet value pick, especially if the new model focuses on sensors you don't care about. So here is where I land. The sensor story feels plausible. It matches supplier behavior. It matches Apple priorities. It fits the long game of health credibility. The full redesign story feels overstated. I believe in refinements. I believe in underside changes. I believe in thinner and lighter. I don't believe Apple will ditch the Ultra identity that fast. As more reports show up, the details will sharpen. Watch the suppliers. Watch the regulatory filings. Watch for consistent mentions of a ring pattern sensor layout. That is where the real hints live. And if Apple does pull off a major sensor leap while keeping the Ultra vibe intact, that is the best possible outcome. Familiar on the outside, smarter on the inside, more accurate everywhere that matters. The Ultra 4 report points to 2 things: bigger sensor hardware and a headline redesign. The sensor angle feels realistic because supplier orders follow real changes. The redesign claim feels inflated because Apple protects strong product identity. Expect refinements, not a new shape. If you value accuracy, waiting makes sense. If you need one now, Ultra 3 remains strong. Drop a comment with your upgrade plan. Are you holding out for the new sensor array or grabbing an Ultra 3 after the next announcement? Tell me which health feature matters most to you right now. So, that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.